Hey guys, today's find on Craigslist. We have a Squire Strat Sunburst that has a 6-point bridge and a brass block. I believe this is GFS because, well, it looks like you got some parts from GFS. So let's turn this over. So here we got the Sunburst finish, the rosewood fretboard, which will be cleaned. Squire tuners. These are really cheap. I don't like them. I'll probably get some GFS. Oops, covering the camera up. Get some GFS tuners on here. Probably the locking ones, depending on, or just get some of their better ratio ones too. We got 6-point trim, which I'm probably gonna swap out with a Floyd because, well, the guy who sold this to me, he was gonna, do a Frankenstein, as you do when you have a Strat and you have a little bit of cash and some ambition to become the next Eddie Van Halen. And well, that's kind of what I'm doing here. Be a very cheap knockoff of Eddie Van Halen. So he does have the pick guard, which I have never liked tortoiseshell. I just never have. I'm not a big fan of red in general for guitars, cars, whatever. I like black, but I like black, blue, dark blue, green, purple, all the other colors except red. Just never been a fan of it because I think my mom had a red car all the time and I got sick of looking at it. Love you, Mom. Anyway, so he has a tortoiseshell pickguard, tortoiseshell back plate, which I don't care about. I'm not going to use that for anything. So all these parts are stock. We also got the pickups, the switch, pots. There was another pot somewhere around. Oh, wait. Right there. And the control covers, pickup covers. He also threw in this Vox little lamp. You just plug in your guitar, plug it in, stick your headphones in, a couple AAA batteries, and you're going to jam quietly. I'm going to try hooking that up to my recording rig, well, my Mac, and see how that sounds. Be interesting. What got me to really pick this up was the VEH, the GFS VEH pickup. VEH, it is play on EVH, which stands for Eddie Van Halen, which this pickup is supposed to sound like. Kind of like I think it was a Gibson pickup that he threw on his Strat way back in the day. And I do like this pickup. I actually have one on my SG. And the only problem I have with it is that it's a little too bright. And I have the SG set up to have series and parallel and coil split. And it does get really bright. And that, I think, is the only time I ever use a tone control is on that guitar. And speaking of which, I'm just going to have a volume and I'm going to test it out to see how it sounds, and I might have a tone control. And for the humbucker, I'll definitely have a coil split on there. I'm all over the place with this camera today because I was filming this with my phone and it died, and I'm too lazy to wait for it to charge. I'm excited, blah 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 blah. Anyway, so humbucker, I'm gonna go right here. Got to cut that out. Could use a saw, a file, a little jeweler saw, make it easy. But luckily, I have a little template I made out of plywood. But this one's kind of rough all over the place. This was kind of my little test template to build humbucking rings out of walnut for one of my other guitars, for my Warmer Z body. Anyway, keep covering that camera. I just positioned this whole iPad wrong. Anyway, so humbucker, I'm going to go in the bridge. I don't like these bridges. They don't zero out as well unless you push it in the back, but I like it just a little bit of floating. So when you pull up, the pitch just goes a little bit, just gets a little bit higher. That's just, so I'll keep it on there for now until either GFS or someone on eBay has a really cheap Floyd, and I mean cheap because I've seen GFS used to have a Floyd Rose knockoff on their site for like 25 bucks. They do have cheaper ones. They do have other ones that are probably a little bit nicer, which are about 80 bucks. If I can't find anything, I'll just grab one of theirs. I think they might have an aluminum brass block on it, or aluminum block on them, or brass block, or just whatever kind of steel they have on there. That's fine. That's no big deal. This is going to be a cheap guitar, but I'm going to try to make it sound as good as possible. Now, 40 bucks for all of this. And you heard me right, $40. Squire body. And by the way, you can get, if you're lucky, you can go to a pawn shop and get a bullet Strat for like, or Squire, even a Squire Strat like this for like 40, 50 bucks at a pawn shop. Fully assembled, ready to go. I've seen a couple of them, but the very few times I've gone to a pawn shop in the last, I don't know, 10 years. I may have gone there maybe 3 times. But anyway, 40 bucks for all this. That was a steal. I saw it, grabbed it, and I wasn't even planning on picking anything up today, but I just saw it, and I've been planning on doing kind of a Frankenstein style guitar, but not really towards Eddie Van Halen, more towards Joe Holmes. And Joe Holmes was a guitar player for Ozzy Osbourne's band. After the first time Zakk Wylde left, he was in there, I think, somewhere in the late 90s. But he was an awesome player. I saw him on the front of Guitar World, and I just saw this beat up Sunburst Strat. Had the Floyd Rose on it, had the humbucker on it. I said, I like that guitar. I could have just bought a Strat, but I'd rather build one myself. But anyway, $40 for this. With the pick guard, I don't know, I'm pretty sure he bought that from GFS as well. And no markings to say anywhere, and there's some brown stuff on there. I'm going to wash my hands after this. So, a lot of dust, blah, blah, blah. Ground wire, this hooks up to the claw, which I might move to the side. I don't like it sitting directly under that pickup. It's good that these are already routed for, well, at least the bridge is routed for a humbucker size pickup. I doubt one would fit up here or here, but that's fine. I'm just going to keep it single, which I'm going to be fine with. And another reason why it's 40, well, not his reason, but why if you buy a Squire Strat, you shouldn't pay more than 40, 50 bucks. Look at that route. That's not paint. Grab my flashlight here. Position. That is the routing they did. This is mass produced. I think this might be probably an Indonesian model, which is fine. They're building them as fast as possible just to get cheap guitars out the door. That's fine. They got to make their money. Fenders and Squire got to make their money, whatever. But don't pay more than 50 bucks for a Squire Strat at a pawn shop or anywhere else. Do not, because it's not worth any more than that, especially if it's used. Anyway, so onto the neck. The fretboard first. It's pretty dirty. You can tell. Got my flashlight shining on it. Don't care, because I'm going to clean the hell out of it. The frets in the upper registers are pretty clean. There's nothing a little, I say clean, and now I'm like scratching stuff. Anyway, I'm going to polish the hell out of these. I'm going to do a fret level on them, just do a whole setup on this guitar. Because, switch hands here, right around around the 6th, 7th fret, you start seeing some wear on the frets. Right here, here, and definitely here and here. Here too. Around these 3 frets are definitely going to need to be leveled. Gonna get some serious buzz if I don't level this whole fretboard out. The nut, he said, needs to be replaced. I know it looks like the slots are pre-focused. Whatever. There we go. It looks like the slots are pretty deep on there. Again, I don't know what year this is, so I'm going to check the serial number here in a little while. They are pretty deep, but that's fine because I have a bone blank here, which I hope is wide enough for that slot. It does not look like it, but that's fine. That's fine, because if I find a Floyd early, well, I'll see what I could do playing with this, adjusting the action, neck, the angle, blah 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 blah, just to get it playing. But once I get the Floyd rose, I will have the nut, and I will have to route this back end out to see that Floyd nut in there, and maybe just push it just a little bit forward to get the intonation right. Anyway, neck's fine, neck's straight. The back of the neck. Hold on. I got it. Little headphone I've got a new Squire. Back of the neck's fine. Back of the neck's good. He looks like he just rubbed this off with a steel wool to get a nice satin feel, which is great because I love that feeling. The serial number, I'll check that out in a little bit. Crappy tuners, which I'll switch out with either Goto or Goto-like tuners. The big brass block, that's awesome that he has that on there. God, I would love to leave this on here, but I want a Floyd on this sucker. And I'm a big believer of Dave from Dave's Fun Stuff. Is that his channel? Anyway, the Guitar Tech Luthier up in Canada. I'm a big follower of the rule of having all 3 of these go straight across. So this would be latched onto here, and this would be latched onto here, because when you're using a tremolo, if you have it this way, the tremolo will go down, and this would have the least amount of tension, so you're not getting even tension all the way across. If you have them all in a straight line together, all parallel, then you'll have that nice balanced feel when you're in that whammy bar. Anyway, losing my voice here. It's been a long day. Hope everyone's having a good time. But pretty dusty. Clean this off here a little bit, then put it away until I am ready to work on it this weekend or next. I don't want to rush, because when you rush things, that's when things tend to get screwed up. God, I wish this would fit that Floyd. It'd be awesome. I want to get one of my guitars which has an actual Floyd rose on it. It'll be awesome. I'll do that some other time. But anyway, cheers, have a good night, and have a good weekend. Take care, guys.